Yo, what
Yo,
up? What's
we're
up,
back.
man? We are back. It's the Clark brothers, Wes and Hev. We're back with another breakdown.
And it is the Idol again, episode 2. For the
That is
Idol, we're going to break it down, let you know all of the points, cover all the points, cover all the controversy, get ready, and preview you into episode 3. So
yep.
let's
Yep.
go over it. Let's get into
Let's
it.
get
And I
right
hope
into
you
it.
guys have watched it, and we want to know what you guys also think about it. Before we get into this, we want everybody to like, comment, subscribe down below, and let us know what you think of the Idol. Now, the second episode, and
It's
let's see,
titled
what was
Double
this
Fantasy.
called? This is Double Fantasy.
Yep. Once again,
Double
directed
Fantasy.
by Sam Livingston. Sam Livingston directed every episode. So just to let y'all know that he's the series director. He took over as the series director. We'll talk about that in the controversy section of this show. He did take over. He at first was not the series director, but when the series director left the project due to creative differences, he took over. So,
Right.
all right,
And just really quickly, synopsis reads: After reworking the song with Tetros, Jocelyn plays a remix version of World Class Center to her team, which receives mixed responses. Nikki adamantly opposes it and berates Jocelyn. At the music video shoot, Jocelyn overexerts herself to perfect the choreography, angering the director. Meanwhile, Leah builds a closer relationship with Isaac. Haim and Destiny look into Testro's, and Nikki sees potential in Diane, who is sees potential in Diane. Now the video is scrapped after Jocelyn breaks down and calls out for her deceased mother. Later, Tedros is invited to Jocelyn's home, bringing with him Isaac and Chloe. And Leah is very wary of Jocelyn's relationship with Tedros. So
mm,
that is the synopsis for episode 2. As I say, this picks up with her after she has spoken and spent that time with Tedros, and he mentioned, Donna Summer and what have you. Now she has done like a remix, and this really just sounds like to me a remix of them recording them having sex. She's
mm-hmm,
doing a lot of moaning, kind of like Donna Summer, "Love to Love You, Baby."
yeah,
But that's what it sounds like, and he, I'm sure, has put the barrier in her back to present this as a remix for the song.
mm,
And like the synopsis said, Nikki pretty much has a field day on her,
berated her.
berates
Just
her,
really
berates her.
puts her in a place. She just kind of Nikki is the one who really is not a yes person. She is the executive of the label, so they all kind of answer to her. So
Right.
she's like, "Look, it doesn't matter. You're getting involved. You're doing what we tell you to do, basically. Yeah, you're gonna do the way we're putting out the original single. We're not
Yeah.
doing a remix. We're not putting out something else. This is what we put our time into. This is what we put our money into. This is what you're doing, like it or not. Basically,
Hmm.
that's what she tells her. So Jocelyn just kind of cries and runs off. That's pretty much all she can do at this
Runs
point.
off and calls Tedros as usual, tells her she
Yeah,
don't like it. He
yeah,
basically tells her, "Oh, you sound like you need people around you who believe in you."
yep,
And when he says stuff like that, it always makes us stop and think like, yeah, when you think about it, they don't believe in me.
right. They don't believe in
So
me.
yeah, so
Exactly.
he's trying to get up with the mind game to try to get her underneath, his little web, right? So
Yeah,
she goes out there because of what Jocelyn's saying or whatever. She goes out there trying extra hard
yep.
to get them. Now it seems like after he said, "Well, you need to maybe fire." Did he say maybe you need to fire some people or get rid of some
He
people?
just
I
said
think he
maybe you
threw
need
that
to
out
get a
there.
new team. That's what he said. Maybe
Yeah,
you need
maybe
a
you need
new
to get a
team.
new team. So now she's out there. You know, she wants. She seems like she's pushing back until she gets it perfect. Every time she does a take, she's like, "No, no,
Yeah,
no, I didn't do it perfect."
yeah.
Stuff like that. So
She's
she finally
overthinking
she
it,
keeps doing it, overthinking. She
overexerting
finally
herself.
redoes it, Yeah, she probably be overexerting, over
Yeah,
So she finally redoes it,
yeah,
and once she gets it, but now they've restarted it so many times and
yeah.
retake it.
And there's
Now the focus is out.
right. These are all, and this is what, unless you're in the business, you don't understand. You understand that this happens for real in real life.
Right.
Every time we do a film shoot, there is some sort of challenge that happens. It
Yeah.
just people aren't perfect, so they've been shooting the takes over and over and over again. And this time, for whatever reason, the camera was out of focus, and that happened to be her best take, and so they have to now reshoot it again. So sometimes you get what the director might feel is a good enough take, but she kept pushing, 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 being the artist, saying I could do better, I could do better, even though she might have did it pretty good. She's like, I could do better. So you get all these takes, and eventually a technical difficulty is going to happen, and that was it. So
And because she kept doing this over and over, this is her first time in a couple of years she's done it. Now she's got a foot, her foot is now messed up, cuts on
yeah,
her toes and what have you. Very important part is they have now gotten word of this Tedros guy.
yeah,
Um, because what's happened is they got word in the photo shoot or what have you that there was photos sent over to her of they were trying to airbrush out. They said she had cuts on her thighs.
mm-hmm.
Now this obviously came from her sexual
The rough sex
intercourse with
things she had
Tedros.
with Tedros, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so they,
So
what
now
did the
it's
first
gotten
person
back to
they,
them that she's got marks on her
right,
thighs.
the first person they go to, of course, is her
Leah.
assistant, the person who lives with her. So Leah, Leah now has to explain to Haim who this guy is, and she's saying, oh, he's just this, he's that, he's that. She's just trying, she doesn't really know who he is yet, but she's just saying he's just this weird guy that she kind of likes. And whatever, he came over to the house, this, that, and the other. So he's like, well, what do we know about this guy? Like, well,
Yeah.
so obviously they're trying to find out. So that now they've gotten wind of who Tedros is. They just don't know who he is. They just like, okay, we got to check this guy out. So
Right.
that's pretty much what they end up doing behind the scenes. But meanwhile, Jocelyn is she's starting to lose it a little bit. She's starting to
Right.
actually break down. She finally hits the note, the choreography the way she wants to, but then obviously due to technical
Protest.
difficulty, it does not. And now she's kind of exhausted now. Now she's kind of
Mm.
shot her
She
low
gave it all for for
for
that
that
one,
for that
and
one,
then she
and
didn't
then
get it.
and then get it. And
Yeah.
the funny thing is, this is only one scene in the video, so like she still
Yeah.
had more to shoot.
More
And
scenes to shoot.
so the director is frustrated. Nikki decides to shut down the shoot for now. They're telling her, she's like, I'm pleased, and remember, she actually asked, if I could come back tomorrow, I'll pay out my own pocket, for the video to bring people back. And they're like, you're talking about $300,000-$400,000 worth of,
No.
manpower.
And funny thing that happens in there is another thing that happens in the music business. If you can't do it, we'll get somebody
Yeah,
to do it.
that's
So right
fantastic.
there on the set,
Hmm.
they have Diane show her again how the routine goes, and then Nikki, who's her record executive, is telling Diane, "You are amazing. Can you sing too? Because I'm
Hmm.
seeing how you're doing with the dancing. Can you sing?" And then next you know she's off having Diane audition for her in the corner singing, and
The
Diane's
same
like, "You
song.
sound amazing. You sound amazing. Take her down and get her vocaled out. Right now."
Mhm.
Now of course Jocelyn doesn't hear any of this,
Yeah,
but
that's
they
on the
tell
side.
Diane, she said, "You go with whatever his name is. We got to get you mic'd up and tracked down in Studio One." So
Mhm.
she's already seeing that there could be some issues.
Yeah,
So she's like, you know what? To back myself up, this girl knows the song.
yeah,
She knows the routine. We need to get
and
this
she can
song out
sing.
here, even if it's got to be her.
Yeah, that's what it is, and she can sing. So right out the gate, Nikki is showing you what a real record executive does in these situations. This
There's
is what
no
happens.
friends that she
There's
don't.
no friends in this.
They say, "Oh, we care for you, we love you."
They
No,
don't.
they care for that money.
They care for the
and
money.
what you
The
can
fact
do for them.
they're putting that money up. That money has to be accounted for some way, shape, and form. They don't put all this money into it. So if Jocelyn can't deliver, we get somebody else. That's just that's just the way it is in the music industry. So that's happened too many times. So that's moving along from that. That that's all done on the side. No one knows what's going on
Right.
except us, the viewer. We know that she's talking, she auditioned Diane, sends her down to get tracked right away, and there you have it.
Right. Now, move on to the next scene where she basically disappointed. She tells, after she breaks down, she calls Tedros, pretty much tells him, you know, what happened. She's like, "Can you make it over? Can you come over at least, or what have you?" And then he's on the phone with her. He says, "Oh, I got a lot of things going on over here, and what have you. But I'll try to make it there to you later on, and what have you." And
Yeah.
then after he hangs up the phone with her, we then notice that Diane, the dancer,
Yep.
is in. She is now at the club with Tedros,
Yeah.
and this is where we learn that she's actually working with Tedros
Yep.
because she says, "Oh, I didn't know this was a setup." She's actually one of Tedros' girls because he asked him, "Is she a better lady than me?" And she goes, "I didn't know this was a setup. You said it'd be good for the club to get her down there." And he
Hmm.
said, "Oh, it will be good for the club." And then she tells him that Nikki wants to sign her. He says, "Good, I'll finally get back that investment on you that I put up." And he goes, "Have her call me to negotiate." So
Right.
she actually works under Tedros, and then the
Hmm.
viewer now knows that Diane is not a loyal friend. She's there not by chance. No,
Nope.
she is there because she was obviously planted there by
Yeah.
him. He
Yeah.
said, "Get her to my club." Remember, she's the one who offered and said we're going out.
One out.
She,
Yeah.
yep, she took him to that club, and that's because she's been working under his
Yeah.
tutelage, or him basically telling her under his orders. She got her to
Bring
the
her to
club,
the
and now
club. Yeah.
everything's in motion.
Now everything's in motion. So now right out the gate you get a reveal that okay, Tedros has been planning. So none of their meeting was by chance.
Right.
And when you go back and see the first episode, you're like, oh, okay, it makes sense now. So now that's one reveal that lets you know, okay, this guy, there's something going on with this guy.
Yeah.
And really after that, it kind of moves forward to where she's talking, there's a couple times where she's talking to Haim and he's like, yeah, he's trying to get her motivated, hey, you gotta
Right.
get this stuff done, you gotta do this.
He's
Uh
like, I can't keep paying the mortgage. He let that
right.
you find out that he's been the one
Paying
paying
her.
the mortgage for her.
Yep.
He's telling her, "You got to get it together. You can do this."
Yep.
You know what I mean? "I have faith in you," and
Yeah.
he's just trying to press her. Meanwhile, her record label, she doesn't know it. Her record label's like, "You know
Hmm.
what? If this goes the way I plan, I don't give a damn whether she gets the song right or not."
Right.
Because we got a girl here who is, what do they try to do? Who's younger?
Yep.
She don't got no issues. She ain't got no mental breakdown, and that's
Mhm.
what they pretty much do. Slide her right in,
Yep.
and sorry, you get the needle, and
Yeah,
then
exactly. Slide her
yep,
right
yep,
in and replace
slide,
her. This is
yep,
what they've
replace
been
her.
doing for years in the
Yep. You
industry.
want
They
to go
still
have hang-ups? Go have hang-ups on your own time.
exactly. So, from that point on, she kind of like, they played a little cat and mouse thing real quick. He's playing, his little mind game. Yeah, yeah, I'll see if I can make it over. He does end up coming over, but this
Right.
time he brings his whole crew with him.
His whole entire crew, and this, of
Yeah,
course, is also not by chance. He
not
brings
right.
everyone over.
Yeah,
So now, as we all know, he's
except
running
Diane.
a little
Except
cult.
Diane
He
because
doesn't bring Diane, so of course she's not gonna let her know that. He's running a little cult. He's got Isaac, who's the black guy, who was
yeah,
dancing with Leah in the first episode.
yeah,
He kind of like brings them just to have them distract
yeah,
people is there. He brings Chloe just in case the creative director's there, which is
Hmm.
Xander.
Yeah,
I don't think he was
Xander.
there for that time.
I don't
But
think.
then he brings Chloe, and of course he brings Chloe there. Another reason is she's the musician that she can relate to. She's a female,
Yeah.
she's young, and
Mm.
she, is going to be the one that's going to link her. You know what I mean? That's going to kind of like help hook her.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So he
And
he comes in, he goes in the room with her. He brings Isaac to keep the Leah
Leah.
girl, to
Yep.
keep Leah
Busy.
occupied.
Yep.
So Isaac goes into there with her. Once again, says you want to dance. There wasn't even no music playing, but
Yeah.
they want to say want to dance or
Right.
whatever. She's trying to keep her eye on Jocelyn, but now
Hmm.
he is, trying to put the lovey-dovey move on her.
Yeah.
She's attracted to him. He's a big, tall, muscular black dude,
Yeah.
blonde hair. I guess women would think that's sexy or what have you. He's
Right. Well,
sexy, mysterious.
this generation is attracted to men that have, their what do you want to call it, feminine side to them and stuff
Yeah,
like that. They're still
yeah,
attracted to that, even though, that's just attractive, especially in LA. Especially in LA.
yeah, especially in
You
LA.
know what I'm saying?
He is
So
definitely a typical
mhm.
LA looking dude.
Yeah.
And so
Where
he
you
goes in
you
the
look at
room
the
with her.
guy, if you look at the guy and can't tell if he's gay or straight, he may not be gay or straight. But the bottom line is this, women are still attracted to guys like that, especially
Right.
in this generation.
So now he's the one to keep her occupied.
Yeah.
And remember, she's now starting to get, remember they told her, find out more about this guy.
Hmm.
The manager told him, find out more about this dude. So
Yeah.
now that Isaac's over, he comes in trying to put the moves on her, but she wants to know, hey, how do you know Tetros? How long have you known him? And she starts asking little questions,
Questions. Yeah.
him about
Right.
Tedros, because she's trying to get as much information as possible to
Hmm.
relay back to the managers.
Yep. And he goes on and he's answering her questions. And you could tell just by the way he answers her questions, the way he speaks of Tedros on this high level, you could tell that he puts Tedros on a pedestal.
Hmm.
And she's already a little freaked out by that. She's thinking like, you can see the look on her face like, something strange here. You
Yeah,
know and I don't know if she's starting to think about certain things, putting certain things together. These people are all in their house, all over it, and maybe took over the house. You got the Chloe, playing the piano. She strips and jumps into the pool, skinny dips, and all. They're
yeah.
just having a ball at this woman's house.
The
when they
woman's
first
house
when
just
they
got there.
when they first pull up, they're like, she stays at a hotel, and they're like, this is her house. you know. So it's like, so they're just having a ball, and meanwhile that leaves Tedros to just continue his mind screw of Jocelyn, and then once again they get into that, and this is we'll talk about this on the controversial part. There's where the controversy comes in. That once again their little sexual encounter, and he's kind of just like talking to her, trying to talk dirty. I guess his way of talking dirty to her, stuff like that, before he ends up having sex with her. Makes her give him oral sex. Chloe's right there watching from the closet,
Yeah,
while she was in the closet, like raiding her closet, putting clothes on and stuff.
right.
Basically, I mean, you got to think about this. To me, this scene tells you a lot about these people. They all come from nothing. They're all musicians. They're all, aspiring musicians, come from nothing. And they're looking at Jocelyn she is the dream, living the dream, so to speak. She's got
Right.
the millions, she's got the big house, she's got all of it, the fans, and they're looking like, wow, and here's Tedros, who basically is kind of like handling her, what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're just like, oh, like he handles all of them. At this point, you as the viewer, you pretty much know. We know pretty much now. This guy's got a cult that he's leading.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep. He's got a cult, and he's trying to grasp onto her
hmm
and make her a part of the cult.
part of the
At
cult.
the
So,
same time, hopefully manage her music career so he
hmm
can be a part of those millions that she's making.
that she's
I
making.
mean, because he's kind of like a failed musician.
Yeah.
I mean, he's kind of like a failed musician that didn't really make it. So
So he owns
now
a
he's
club.
acting as a label guy and a
He owns a
manager
club.
and
Yeah. Then
owns
he
a
owns a
club.
club, and then so he's moving his way in, and his safety net is Diane. He
Yep.
sends her in. So now he didn't expect her to get offered a deal.
Right.
So that's just a whole nother thing. So basically at this point, they get into their little sexual thing. Isaac is banging Leah's back out.
Mm.
In her room. So he's keeping her quiet. Well,
Yeah.
keeping her busy. She's not quiet because he's tearing her up. But um, and then at this point, after the whole fact goes on, you got, once again, these people that you don't know roaming around your house.
Yeah.
Oh, so Chloe sits on the piano because she is, a talented pianist. The
Sitting on the piano, and she still got no clothes on, or she
Yeah,
might got
she
a
may have
see
something on, like,
through
yeah, something
robe or
on
something.
her shirt or something. Yeah.
But
She starts
yeah,
playing and singing this song, this weird song.
creepy, weird song.
This is my family. We don't like each other very much, but I'm okay with that. And that's pretty much the tune that she's singing.
Right.
And at that point, she's playing, and uh, you know, uh Jocelyn comes down and sees her, and she's just looking at her. Then they're all kind of coming
Yeah,
into
she's
the room,
listening to the song,
listening
and
to the song.
and remember, she doesn't feel as though she has a family because
Exactly.
the family members, the people that she has right now as family, are all people that works for her team,
Hmm.
and they don't listen to her. She doesn't make any decisions.
Right.
She has to hear about how, oh, we gave you this and we gave you that, and you should
Yeah.
just be grateful.
Yeah.
And then the managers bring it up. Oh man, I can't keep paying your money. So of course, and then when she lets them hear something that she believes in, they just
She
tear it down right away.
tear it down.
So
Yeah.
now she's loving the way all of these guys get along and root for each other and
Yep.
support each other,
Yep.
and that's what she likes.
That's what she's automatically attracted to that. And as Isaac joins in, he starts singing. So then they're all kind of like singing in there that weird song. And at this point is where Leah looks at this whole picture and's like, something's wrong here. Like,
Yes.
this dude
Oh my
is,
God.
yeah,
She looking like, oh my
she's saying,
God.
oh my God, because they're like all sitting there singing like some crazy ass cult,
Yeah, that song.
you
That
know?
song is weird. That is a
Yeah.
creepy song. It's like my
And
family,
the
we
funny
don't
thing
get
is,
along very much, but
the
that's
funny
okay
thing
with
is
that.
that whole night after I watched that show, that was an earworm in my head. I kept thinking about that song. This is my family, and I'm sitting there like, oh my God, why am I singing this crazy song? But I mean,
Yeah.
it was the perfect thing for her at that moment, and she's just—that's pretty much how the episode ends. She's standing there with her would-be new family, possibly,
Yep. We'll be new family.
singing this song, and being like, so she's so attracted
And
to the
and
freedom.
remember,
The
he then mentions moving in.
Right. He says, if I'm gonna really work on you with stuff, maybe I should just move in. And she just looks at him like, okay, she doesn't really say anything about it. So here's the deal. She is attracted mostly to their freedom, the freedom that
Hmm.
they have to create, the freedom that they have to, like you said, they support each other. They talk, and even the little talks that they have with each other. We skipped over a few things, but you can watch that in the episode. The talks in between that she had with each of them. She had talks
Yeah.
with Chloe. She had talks with Isaac, and things like that. So it's kind of like, getting to know what they're about. So Isaac for the most part was keeping Leah busy, but she's having a talk with Chloe, really. So,
Yeah.
and she's attracted to that freedom, that creative freedom that they have. They don't answer to nobody. Well, they answer to Tedros, but
Right.
when they speak Tedros' name, it's nothing to the high. It's to the highest level. So
Hmm.
they're like he pushes them. He makes them better. Create. He makes them better. So that's what it is. So that's how that episode ends. Very, very weird ending, but it's pretty much set you up for the rest of the series. Okay, if you didn't know by now, this dude is either one a con man, two what's it called, a cult leader, or both.
Or both.
Yeah, or both. That's pretty much what he
You know what
is,
I'm
and
saying?
that's the end of that episode.
Right. So that was the end of episode 2.
Double
You
fantasy.
guys, yeah, double fantasy. You guys, let us know what you thought of that. The
Mhm.
real controversy, if you want to go over the controversy of
Right.
that one, was had to probably be the sex scene. A lot of people were talking about
It was cringe,
his
yeah.
cringe sex scene about
Right, he was
him.
talking. Oh God, the way he talks, sexy, and I mean,
Yeah,
this
doing a
guy
lot of
is,
dirty
yeah,
talking and
lot of dirty talk, just kind of weird dirty talk stuff. He makes her, give her oral sex, same deal, spanking her, choking her, stuff like that. She likes that stuff. So,
yeah,
and then of course you see, really this Isaac, he was just banging out Leah. That was just pretty much that. But yeah, all of that stuff was the most, like, I guess, cringe, quote unquote, part of the
right.
show. So we'll make sure you guys like and subscribe and comment down. Let us know what y'all thought about
So we got episode
episode
2.
2, Double Fantasy. What was, we know the cringe moments. What were there any moments about this show that, when did you figure out that this dude is a cult leader? you know,
Right.
in
And
the show.
did you expect Diane to be,
Part of it.
to be a part of it? Did you think from the beginning she was, she was legit, she was Jocelyn's friend? But let me know down in
Right.
the comments what you think, going forward is gonna happen as far as Diane, um, Tedros and Jocelyn. So let us know
Yeah.
down below.
All right. Peace.